Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This is Dashiell Rose here. I am back with another video for you guys. In today's video, we'll be talking about Elio and apparently some production problems, supposedly some production problems, about apparently Elio originally being gay and all that, yeah, I kind of want to talk about that, and yeah, I know I shouldn't. I mean, I know people are probably sick of people talking about it, but that seems to be kind of a big thing that Hollywood was kind of pushing, was LGBTQ stuff and all that, and some people were fine with it, some people weren't. So I figured I'll probably talk about that as well. If you guys don't want to hear me talk about it, well, you guys can always click off the video. And I'm sorry if the video looks different here. I actually forgot my phone at my dad's house, and I'm not going back till Tuesday, and I'm gonna be busy this week. So I don't know if I'm gonna have the time to make the video or not. And I actually have other videos planned. So these videos might be a little bit different. So I won't have my avatar and all that in there. But like I said, you guys don't have to watch it. This is just me talking about my opinions, and I haven't really been talking about this too much, but this one particularly, I have some things to say about it. So, yeah, if you guys don't like it, I do reviews, and I do, gameplays and all that, because, personally, I kind of need a break from talking about this stuff too, but I like to have my own opinion out there, as well. You guys can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and please subscribe to my channel. I am trying to get to 1K subs. We're getting closer. We're actually getting closer, and I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your guys' support with my channel. And make sure you guys are still subscribed, because I have not been noticing as many problems with that, but I've been noticing other problems, which I'll get to in this video and all that. Talking about throughout this video, but I just kind of want to get my introduction out of the way, And I think that's really all I have to say for my introduction, so I guess we'll go ahead and actually talk about this. So, we're going to talk about Elio and the whole LGBTQ thing and all that. So, yeah. So, anywho, yeah, so we know current Hollywood that this is not just Disney. This is, well, not just Hollywood. A lot of companies in general have been pushing all this LGBTQ stuff and all that, in their merchandise and products and all that. And a lot of people are not very happy about it. Not very happy about it because it's getting shoved down people's throats and all that. And yeah, it's people are just not happy about it. This film I actually don't know if they actually were planning that or not. Now, there are people that have come out, of Pixar and have said that, but they could be just people stirring up shit too, because I think people have been talking about Disney course correcting and all that, which I don't know if taking this shit away completely is course correcting, or not, because they're also talking about how, apparently they want to get rid of divorces on kids' movies and all that. They're playing it way too fucking safe, and I want to clarify, I have nothing wrong with there being LGBTQ stuff in kids' films. There's nothing wrong with it. Eventually your kids are gonna be exposed to it, it's gonna happen, When I was little, I found out my uncles were gay, and I asked questions. There were certain questions I couldn't get answered because I was little, how a male, and another male had sex and all that, because and all that, I wasn't allowed to ask those questions, But I did learn a little bit about this stuff when I was younger and all that, and that's kind of the thing, though, it's gonna happen. Kids are gonna be exposed to it, and yeah, I mean, I hate how people are bitching about how they don't want kids to see this and all that. I'm just I get it. I get you don't want this shit shoved down your throats, but again, there's nothing wrong with kids seeing this. There's nothing wrong with that, like it's like natural, it's just it's like saying like kids are not allowed to see, like I don't know, they like basically they're saying it like the kids are not allowed to see romantic entrance, in kids movies and all. That's basically what you're saying, except it's with a a gay or transgender. Well, I guess transgender wouldn't be more. That'd be more. I mean, I guess they could make that romantic too. But that's more kind of a person transitioning into a girl or a boy, and all that. It's kind of that stuff, and all that. But I can get why some people are upset about it. But I also don't like how again they don't want kids being exposed to it at all. And I'm just like, I think because they're afraid that kids are going to think, or it's going to mess with their minds and all that. And I'm just like, it's not going to mess with their minds. I mean, it's like I said, it's basically like, like I said, like Disney is and other studios and all have always been known for making, they've made a lot of romance, movies and all that. And, it's been a thing forever. And actually, even, I'm going to tell you guys a story here. Now I don't know, like, which Disney show or movie has done this first. A lot of people say Strange World is the first Disney movie to do, gay stuff. Actually, there was a show on Disney Channel that had, I haven't seen it, but I saw some clips on it when I was younger, about this boy, liking another boy and all that, and they didn't make a fuss about it then. But they're making a fuss about it now. And I think it's just because this shit has gotten out of hand. Like, it is way, way, way just out of hand, and people are just so sick of it and all that. And, like I said, when you got people out of Pixar throwing hissy fits about that, it's just kind of, I can kind of, get why people are upset, But like I said, there's nothing wrong with kids being, like seeing this in movies and all. Now, being taught this stuff in schools, now, that's a little bit of a different story. They don't need to be taught this in school. Like, maybe when they're, like, in middle school and high school, but elementary school, no, I think it'd be more so better to talk about this. Or they want to have their parents talk about it. But, like, I mean, to be fair, though, I guess it'd be, like, in films, too, I guess. But, like, well, schools are mostly going there to learn anyway, and you don't need to learn about that. But that's the thing too with films, I guess. Technically, I guess parents would have to explain that stuff to their kids and all that anyway. But I'm just like, I mean, again, they're gonna eventually find out and all. And like I said, as long as there's nothing, like. As long as they're not, like actually teaching this shit or and all that, like in kids' cartoons, that's fine. But that's the thing, though. They've been getting way out of hand with this stuff, and a lot of companies and all have been doing this stuff. And then Target had that backlash. Target, they were selling this kids merchandise and all that, which I don't know. I never really got the fuss with that. I'm like, I mean, yeah, you can say Target shouldn't be selling that to kids and all that, but like transgender kids and all that. But I'm like, it's not like Target, again, like, I feel like Target's the only one doing that and all that. And like I said, Target, like, I'm not saying, again, you should be encouraging kids to do this stuff, like, I'm not gonna lie, as somebody who, I'm on the spectrum, like, I'm LGBTQ and all that too, I'm saying this shit has gotten way out of hand, like, it has gotten way out of hand. I'm even saying it myself, like, I'm saying it's gotten out of hand too. And I do agree that I think kids probably should wait until they're older before if they want sex changes on. They shouldn't be doing it when they're, like, underage and all that, because, it is a very big life decision. It is. Sorry, I forgot I'm not recording this on my other phone. Sorry, I forgot about that. I'm trying to keep my phone from, shutting off, but which I'm going to talk about that in a second, because that's kind of pissing me off too, which is why some of these videos have been taking a while to upload, but I'll talk about that in a second. But I'm going to finish talking about this, but, yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, like I said, I totally agree with some of the things people are complaining about, but I don't think, again, like, you should keep the kids away from it, completely. It's natural and all that, like, it's basically kind of, it's no different than, a kid, liking somebody or not. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, it happens. Like there's nothing wrong with it. And I just think people think because they get taught this stuff, it's gonna brainwash them and all. And I don't think that it won't happen like that. Like, it can, depending on who's teaching the schools and all that. But again, I'm like, there's probably, gay kids out there who actually like, boys or lesbians who are girls who like, this or that, which I'm gonna say right now, I thought, lesbians were gays, but now they're saying lesbians. I think, there shouldn't even be lesbians. I think it should just be gay in general, or lesbians are gay. I don't know why they need, like, two separate, names for that. Like, a transgender, like, girl or transgender boy, that's a little bit different, but, like, honestly, if it were up to me, I wouldn't even say trans. Just be like, I guess they probably want to say that maybe because, maybe for doctors and stuff, but I'm like, I just don't give a shit. Like, I just don't give a shit, I just don't really. So there's people on Facebook all the time bitching about that and all that. Are you gonna lock your kids in your house and all that? I'm like, they're gonna be exposed to it. You can't just keep your kids locked away and all that, because that's basically what they're doing, I actually commented on one person's comment about that, and actually they didn't respond, so I'm like, so I think I proved a very valid point there, but, yeah, I don't know, but as for this movie, which I guess I'll talk about that in a second, I want to get this out of the way first, because this is actually right here is pissing me off. So I haven't talked to you guys about my phone yet. So this phone right here, I don't know about the other one, I haven't really been paying much attention to it, because I have not been recording as much. This phone right here, the fucking internet literally keeps cutting in and out, so trying to upload videos is actually very hard. Because, especially when I've been going places and all that, I actually have a little surprise for you guys. I went somewhere, I'm not gonna tell you guys where it's at, I'll upload it on YouTube. It's not like a super big surprise, but, it's something, we'll just say it's an ice cream thing that people have forgotten about. And I'm actually going to upload it here, like, as soon as I utter video uploads, whenever that happens. Because I was showing off my Toy Story stuff and all that I got at Slackers. And it's just taking forever to upload. And that's because, well, I think it doesn't help it's a very long video. But I talked about in that video that it was going to be a long video because I was showing off, all 3 Toy Story movies. I was showing all 3 of them off, because it came in one box. I actually took it back to Slackers today, because I was like, it doesn't include the original logo, because I talked about it in the video that I'm like, I kind of prefer I'm very picky when it comes to that stuff, I'm like, if I'm gonna buy, these Disney movies and other movies, I'm like, I want the original format, if I'm gonna be paying for Blu-ray and 4K and all that, and in 3D, that's exactly what happened there, Because, basically, when, they made Toy Story 3, they swapped out the older logo with the new one. So, and I think after that, pretty much, here on out, they pretty much just used the new logo, so, which I guess technically be the old logo now, but yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that video is just taking forever to upload, and it's a long video, but it doesn't help that, like, the internet keeps cutting in and out. I could probably delete it and just re-upload it, but I'm like, I'm going to all these places, I don't know if I want to do that or not. I don't know, I might think about that, because if I delete it, then it'll still show off, so it'll throw people off, like, on the video and all that, on YouTube. Like, if it disappears, it'll still show it, being gone. I don't know, it's kind of hard to say, but, but that's the thing, though. It's just kind of annoying. But, yeah, I'm like, that's why I hate this phone, and that's why I said getting a newer one would be even worse, because that's the whole reason why I had to, I got this new one to have a backup phone, in case the other one went out. Because I was actually not wanting to upgrade because I've heard complaints about it. Not this stuff particularly, but I have heard complaints. Yeah, this one though is just like I said, like the newer the phones are, it seems the worse they are, So, but people told me that, and I'm like literally, I'm flat out like rubbing it in their face, like you see exactly, because they're now these people that are talking about that are bitching about the same thing I was pointing out. Like they were talking about how like they were calling me out and all that. Like, well, not everybody, but my family and all it was. And then, and then I get a new phone here, which I guess this one's not technically the newest model. It's it's from 2020, but it's not like super old either. The other one was from I think 2016. But that one works so much better. It's slower, but it works so much better, than this new one, that's the thing there. So like when I had typed my stories, because I told you guys in the future I actually want to make my own cartoon stuff, but I think I talked about that before, so when I go to that and all, that's kind of why I'm doing that. I have to use the other phone because of that. That's kind of the problem, because this newer one, the freaking speech to text thing is so fucking bad on it, I mean, the other one's eventually going to get outdated where the apps won't work, but I'll probably just go fucking mod it. And if they take me to court, I'm going to be like, well, you guys need to put, like, fucking human beings in here. Don't put this goddamn AI shit in here, Because this shit's, like, fucking everything up. It is. I actually do still plan to do a video separately talking about AI in general, but I think I've talked about it before, but I do want to make another video talking about it, because things have gotten kind of worse since I think I've talked about it before. If I made a video on it, which I don't remember, but I don't know. But this whole thing is a mess. But that's why I'm kind of, that's, why I kind of usually use the older phone, but sometimes I use the newer one like this because it has more space on it, which is one positive I'll say about it, but I don't know. But now that I got that out of the way, I want to talk about the actual movie itself. First off, I actually did go to see this movie in the theaters. I went to see it in the theaters. And I'm going to tell you guys, the theater, like, where I went to see it was pretty much empty. There was, like, a couple people in there. Most people went to see, I was hearing a lot of people are going to see, the How to Train Your Dragon movie. Which I guess maybe, like, where some of the criticism is coming from, but people are, like, pointing out, like, how people are, like, wanting more original movies and all that, and they're not supporting these movies, which could be true. But some of these people, may have seen these movies. That's the thing, though. Like, that's what I'm trying to get at with people. People want to criticize and bitch at people who, like I say, like, if Toy Story 5, for example, makes a shit ton of money, they're going to be like, well, that's just encouraging them to make more sequels than originals, like Elio and all. Well, number one, you don't really know. You don't know who went to see what. You don't know who went to see what. Like there's probably people that probably went to see Elio and then decided to go see another movie. You don't really know who did what. And number two, they didn't fucking advertise this movie hardly at all. I mean, I got advertisements, but apparently a lot of people didn't. They didn't get ads or anything like that. So a lot of people didn't even know the fucking movie was out. The good news is it's actually starting to make bank. It's actually hitting $70 billion. However, the bad news is, here's the bad news though. I'm afraid Disney's probably gonna pull it from the theaters like DreamWorks did with Ruby Goldman and Teenage Kraken. And that movie was starting to make bank, and they fucking pulled it from the theaters before it could do anything. Because I was actually gonna go see that movie in the theaters too. And then they pulled it from the theaters. I will say I didn't get to finish watching the movie because I had to use the restroom and all that. I asked one person, I was like using the restroom here, and I was using the stall and all that. As one person was trying to fucking talk to me while I was using the bathroom, and I'm just like, I'm using the restroom here. I don't want to be talking to people while I'm using it. This person just kept talking to me. This person kept talking to me and all that, asking if I have autism and all that. And I'm like, you know what? Just fuck you. Like, I'm really just like that. Like, I didn't say it to the person. I didn't say it to the person. I didn't say it to him and all that because of that, I told you guys that technically I am male, so I use the male bathroom, but I'm technically gender fluid and all that, but, because eventually I'm gonna people are gonna find out, because I upload, I mean, I'll probably edit, like, out some stuff, like, my face, 'cause I don't like my face being revealed on camera. I'll probably, edit that out, like, upload, my stores and restaurant videos. I could, like, just blur out people in general, but, like, I'm, like, news articles, news people do it all the time and all that, so. Actually, there's probably some that even when I was little, like, apparently, like, we went to, like, the, like, we went to the, like, the Jefferson City, school. I think it's called Lewis and Clark. There's like a news article. I think you could probably see me in the background there. I didn't even know we were being recorded. And it's the same with Cowley Hills. So like, that's the thing though. They bitch about you not giving them permission, and they do it anyway. So I'm like, I mean, I just do it to get preserve memories. That's why I do it. But I would do it for myself because I'm like, I mean, I usually don't really like. I don't like because I'm going to the bathroom and all that, like, I don't know, I just kind of do it like that, but I probably wouldn't do it forever. I mean, I should probably do it for other people, too, but I'm like, a lot of these places are also very packed, can be packed at times, too, so if I edit out too many people, you might not be able to see the photos and all that, or, the videos and all of the places, so that's kind of why, but yeah, I do hate that people are like that. I'm just like, I'm trying to use the restroom here. That's just creepy and all that, and disrespectful and all that. And you guys are just talking to me while I'm trying to use the restroom. This person was probably like a teenager. I think he was younger, like quite younger than me. But, but still, I'm like, you don't just talk about that. Like, that's just weird and all that. But I had to leave the theater the first time because my ears were hurting and all that too because of the noise. And I didn't bring in my headphones. I think I've talked about this before on my channel, but if I didn't, well, I'm going to talk about it now. I have sensitive ears. So I can't really, be, like, it's hard for me to watch these movies in the theaters without my headphones. I thought about actually just leaving the theater, because I'm like, I'm the one who paid for it. Nobody else paid for it, like unlike Deadpool and Wolverine, where my dad took it and I just kind of left at the end. When the movie was almost over and I was using the restroom, But I should have just stuck around till the end, I kind of didn't. Even though my dad, has been kind of pissing me off lately with some of the crap he's been doing, I still think that was kind of disrespectful. I shouldn't have done that, but I wasn't thinking, but I was using the restroom and the movie was almost over, so, yeah, but I did miss some pieces of it, but I saw most of the movie. I saw most of it, and yeah, I'm gonna do a sole review on it, but for now, from what I've seen, the movie itself, it's okay. Like, it's not great. It's very, very simple and, very straightforward, I'll say, I think I enjoy, like, from what I've seen of it, I can't say about the whole movie, but from what I've seen of it, I think I enjoyed it more than Elemental. Elemental probably had a better, Elemental had a better, like, atmosphere and all the elements and all in there, which, by the way, were very underutilized in that movie, which sucked. This one, I think I kind of liked the concept better, but I didn't like the space part as much. Like, they didn't really have as many, like, I was hoping maybe they would go out of their way, with space. Because, like, Star Wars, for example, Star Wars with space and all that. And, I don't know about the newer shows because I haven't seen a bunch of them, but I do have one show I will be reviewing for you guys, though, here in pretty soon, actually. I have to finish, I'm finishing it up right now, but I'm gonna be reviewing it here pretty soon. Which I actually do have a review. I actually had to still upload that SpongeBob review thing I did too. Which I got it finished, but because I don't have my phone with me, I can't upload it. But yeah, basically, yeah, that's kind of what happened though. They that's what happened though. They basically, well, basically, that's what happened there. But yeah, but yeah, they had like a lot of times in Star Wars would do these special effects, which were really cool. Even like Revenge of the Sith, like the fight between Obi-Wan and Anakin, with like they use all these special cool effects, like space effects you wouldn't normally see anywhere else. And, in this movie, there's not really a lot of it, and it just feels very, very, very just, like, I can see why maybe some people don't like it, but from what I've seen of it, it doesn't look too bad. However, the thing is, though, is there is some talk that they actually changed some stuff in the movie. Apparently, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, which is kind of what this whole thing is about, is they were talking about how Elio, or actually no, it's not called Elio, it's called Elio. Sorry, Elio. I thought it was Elio. Apparently his name's Elio. I keep calling it Elio, because that's what other people call it. But no, it's called Elio. So Elio actually, basically, apparently, was originally, they were people like apparently the people out have come out and said that he was originally going to be gay and all that, and I'm like he's like, I don't know how old he is, but he's a very young teenager and all that, like why the hell do they have to make him gay? Like, can't they just like it just felt like it was so like, this movie doesn't feel like it needs that in it. Like, I don't like it. I mean, yeah, I thought the movie, like I said, was very straightforward, but like, I don't feel like it needed that in it and all that. And I'm just like, that's just so stupid. Like, that's what I'm talking about. Like, they can have these in movies sometimes, but Elio did not need that in the movie. It did not need it. Like, it's about a kid getting freaking abducted, and I guess because he's fed up with Earth, which, I mean, you could say, well, maybe he wants to find a love up there, but again, I don't feel like this story really needs a love story in it. But that's the thing, though. There were people in there that were talking about that. But again, it could be just them stirring up shit too. It's really hard to say like what was going on there. But I will say that the original trailer that came out in 2024, was it 2024 or no, I think it was 2023, because that was, I think I saw it in the theaters. Yeah, I saw it in the theaters, I believe, when I was watching Elemental. Because that movie got pushed back because they wanted to put Inside Out 2 in there. Because that movie would have done better. And I think they were doing it probably to save their asses, because Pixar was I think, in decline. To be fair, though, when Bob Chapek probably would have shut Pixar down. But when Bob Iger became the CEO again, I think Bob Iger, honestly, he is a fucking very, he has his head up his ass all the damn time, and he's constantly, trying to make the damn company about him. Like, he has to put his face on fucking everything, And the thing is that with Bob Chapek didn't really buy Pixar. Bob Chapek, Bob Chapek didn't buy Pixar. Bob Iger did, And basically what happened was, Iger left, and then Bob Chapek took over. He took over the company when Bob Iger left. Which is supposedly he left. There are some stories out there that even Chapek and, some of his relatives and some other people, I think, in the company have talked about how, Iger really never really completely left the company. He still had, he left the company, but he still had sayings on what he could and couldn't do, which should technically be illegal or against the whole code, because he's not part of the company anymore. But I guess, to be fair, maybe he could still have some stuff to say. But I'm like, they should have fucking fired his ass. I've talked about this before, though. I think it's getting harder and harder for people to fire CEOs, I've noticed. It's getting harder to do that, and that's kind of the problem. I'm like, that's why a lot of these fucking companies are getting ran into the ground, Because remember, back in the day, they would fire a lot of these CEOs. They would. They fired they fired Michael Eisner, because Michael Eisner was kind of running the company in the ground too. He kind of was. I mean, some of the movies were not performing as well and all that, and that kind of stuff. The thing is, though, with Michael Eisner, unlike, Iger, a lot of the movies that weren't performing very well, actually, a lot of them were well received. There were some, Home on the Range and all that were not, well received, and Chicken Little, which I heard they kind of changed that. But a lot of the movies, like Lilo and Stitch, I heard Atlantis and all that were well received. They were well received films, and so was Emperor's New Groove, And now it feels like anymore Disney is lucky to even get a movie out there that people actually like. Because even fucking their movie last year, which kind of came into this year too, which is Moana 2, that movie, a lot of people did not like it. It made some money, but a lot of people didn't like it. Now they're trying to say that it made more money than fucking Sonic, but which I would believe, but then they were on social media fucking blocking people's comments and all that, which I'm just like, at that point you're basically proving to people that you're not a trustworthy company there. Like, I don't know what the hell is going on. Like, they're not even fucking really hiding it anymore about what they're doing. Some of these companies out here are actually hiding this shit, but Disney's not even fucking hiding it anymore. It feels like they're actually quite aware of what they're doing. They've been quite aware of what they've been doing, but now they're like, flat out, admitting, like, pointing shit out and not even hiding it anymore. Like, they're trying to hide comments, but I'm like, it's just that's kind of the problem. Like, you can only go so far with it, and then, you can go so far with the freaking stuff, and then, like, eventually you're gonna screw it up. I talked about this before. I talked about this in the past. I'm like, eventually they're gonna hit a ceiling here with some stuff, and, like, eventually there's gonna be enough people that are gonna turn against the company, and that's what's happening. I mean, we have some of the people in the company that are not, well, the people who worship the company and all that, and no matter what they fucking do, and all that, they'll still praise him and all that. Those are the crazy nut jobs and all that. I mean, I'm not saying every Disney fan and all that, is a bad person, but I'm like, there are a shit ton of them that'll do that. Like, I think I talked about before. I'm actually subscribed to a person who's a Disney fan. Like, he's a big Disney fan, but even he's admitted when something was wrong. But yeah, he did. But yeah, he's even admitted, and like, he's even, did that. He's even admitted, when there was, like, stuff going on, like, or like, even like movies, like, because I see people out there, like, fucking praising him all the time. Like, I think I've talked about this YouTuber before, Dave Down and Under. Like, he would do that. Like, he literally would, like, praise, like, he would literally would, like, praise, like, well, not praise, like, he literally would shit on people and all that for, like, having their own opinion and all that on stuff, and, like, and, like, and all that. I mean, I haven't really seen him post a lot lately, because I'm so subscribed to him, because I've kind of trying to give him more of a chance, but honestly, I'm thinking about unsubscribing to him, because he's kind of a douchebag. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like, he will literally, like, I don't like saying that about people, like, or calling people names like that, but, like, he literally will, like, shit on people and all that, and he does get access to a lot of earlier stuff from Disney, so that kind of tells you much about him, but, I mean, he has kind of started, like, criticizing some stuff too, but, like, in the past, he would do that, like, and, I don't know, I don't like calling people names like that, but I'm like, I hate people. I mean, it's one thing, like I said, to be a fan of a company, but, like, when you're trolling your own audience and all that, that's the problem, and I hate that. I hate people that are like that. I'm like, if you don't agree with it, that's fine. Just keep your damn mouth shut. Don't, like, go trolling people and all that, But yeah, I don't know. But I was gonna say, I was gonna say the whole Elio thing too and all that. Like, I was gonna say, I was talking about the CEOs and all that, and, like, how they're getting harder to get, gone and all that kind of thing with this, that kind of actually runs into this whole thing. So it is possible that very early on, maybe they were gonna plan on doing that. I don't know, because I think Elio was actually announced. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Elio was announced under Chapek. I could be wrong, like, before he was fired. I'm pretty sure, I'm pretty sure he was, he announced it. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure he did. But, when Iger came back, Iger fucking announced all these damn sequels. Like, literally, like, most of the movies that are coming out from Disney anymore will be sequels. And that's kind of where some people are like, again, are like, because this movie's not performing very well, it's not performing very well, that's why it's gonna fail. And I mean, yeah, that probably doesn't help, but also, like, when you go to the theater and you see a lot of people there, it could also be one family, Like, it could be a family, And again, when you have advertisements, you already could be buying, the tickets and all that, and, are already promised your kids to go see this movie, and you don't want to disappoint them, you want to make your kids happy, So when you promise to go see fucking the live action, How to Train a Dragon movie, which I actually hear isn't too bad. I hear there's some problems with it, but it actually stays very close to the original, is what I heard. But like I told you guys before, I'm not the biggest fan of live action remakes, so I probably won't see it. I probably will do reviews on these movies down the road, but I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about maybe covering maybe Disney's all in one video, because I was thinking maybe I should do them separate, but like, I've kind of heard it all kind of have the same problems, so I don't know. I have to see that, but like DreamWorks, even, Paramount have done theirs in the past, and a lot of people actually want to say, too, that the live-action remakes kind of started with The Jungle Book. But actually, they actually have had live-action remakes before that. Like, in the 90s, they had the live-action remake of the 101 Dalmatian movie. I remember, hating that movie. I remember freaking hating that movie because they took away one of the biggest things of the movie, and that is the animals talking, but because they're fucking live-action they're like live-action, characters, they can't talk in the damn movie, And I'm like, that beats the whole purpose of it. They did this with Dumbo, too. Now, Dumbo, I don't remember if I ever actually finished watching Dumbo. I can't remember. I think I got pretty far in the movie, but never got back to finishing it. The 101 Dalmatian movie, I'm pretty sure I finished watching that. I'm pretty sure I got to finish watching that movie. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I did. They did have actually a Cruella movie in it, that came out that was like a parody of 101 Dalmatians as well. I've seen that as well. I think it's called 102 Dalmatians. I think that's what it's called, which is kind of crazy. But it's even crazier that they somehow these dogs have had fucking a ton of puppies like that in general. Like, could you imagine just going to somebody's house and just seeing all these fucking dogs running around? That's just crazy. But I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, they've been doing that forever too, so it's not surprising. But like again, like I said, man, the whole thing is too, like I said, with parents and on, they don't want to disappoint their kids. And yeah, you could be like, well, we want to support the movie, but also, sometimes the parents, it's not fair for the parents to, just go and say, we're gonna do this or that because, we want to do this. We want to make our kids happy. We want the kids to have a fair, argument too, And that's the thing, though. A lot of people did not know this movie was probably out. And so, people were already going to go see another movie, But there are people out there that will do that too, So it's possible. I don't know. But I was going to say, Elio, though, yeah, like I said, I think it's starting to make bank now, but I don't think it's going to make its money back. Because I've heard they had to redo some stuff. And actually, if you watch the trailer, I've talked about that. If you watch the first trailer, from 2000, 2023 and all that, was it? Yeah, it was 2023 when Elemental came out. The trailer was completely different. I haven't really finished the movie, but I was watching it. Like, apparently Elio has like a sister in the movie. But in the original movie, I think it was his mom. Yeah, it was his mom. They changed that. Apparently they, like, the way she found out how he got abducted and all that was a little bit different. Like, he was abducted a little bit different, so they clearly changed a lot of it. I mean, movies do that all the time. They do it all the time. But, like, this trailer felt like it was completely different. But I didn't really see any, like, gay stuff. It felt like it was more, like, comedy. Like, it was more goofy, Like, it was more goofy and not as serious, So, yeah, it was more goofy, So, I don't know. Like, it kind of, but again, I never finished watching the movie, so I don't know, like, because they had, like, a villain in the movie, too, and all that, and I don't know how the movie ended, but I'm just saying, I don't know, I already kind of forgot about a lot of that happening. I mean, they kind of borrowed a lot of elements from other movies, too, and all that, but I'll save that for, like, when I actually review the movie in the future, but I'm doing DreamWorks right now, so I'll probably just review it down the road, because I haven't even reviewed, Inside Out 2 either. I need to review that as well, and I haven't done that yet either. But but I will down the road review those movies, including I'll go back to do Illumination as well. But I'm gonna take a break from the stuff because I'm gonna try to get Disney as well done. Is after DreamWorks, I'm gonna go through the Disney catalog and review those. But I'll probably even take a break before I even do that. So it'll be a little while, but I do want to review that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, the thing is though, like I said, if they're saying that this movie was actually gonna have gay stuff in it, that would have been very early on in production, and because like I said, the trailer didn't. I mean, it could have been maybe in the movie, but again, it didn't even look like it was gonna be in the movie. It definitely looked more like it was gonna be. It looked more like it was gonna be, like Goof Eater and all that, So I don't know. So yeah, I don't really know what that would be about, but it is kind of strange though. But yeah, I don't know. But like I said, it could be just like I said, the people in Pixar are trying to troll people, and try to just to set people off. Because I mean, there are people that do that. So I mean, but that's the thing though. It could have been originally gay, but like I said, Elio. I keep calling him Elio. Elio could have been gay originally, and then. But I'm just it's kind of weird to have a 10 or 11-year-old. I don't think they clarified his age, but a very young boy be gay and all that. That's just weird, I mean, like I told you guys, I have nothing wrong with that stuff in the movies, but I don't know, having it in this kind of movie and all that, when it's about a kid getting abducted, I think that's a little too much and all that. But I also think, like I said, I mean. I don't think having them in the movie, is and shows is that bad, but I don't really want it. I feel like a lot of cartoons and shows anymore have been doing this stuff. Even Cartoon Network, if you go on Cartoon Network, you notice a lot of their modern shows have had that stuff in it. Adventure Time had lesbian characters in it, and then we had Steven Universe, same thing, and then Velma and all that, and I think some other shows have done that too and all that. I haven't seen a lot of modern cartoons, but the ones I've seen, yeah, they've done that. And I guess Velma really isn't a Cartoon Network show; it's more of a Max original. But they shipped freaking Velma and all together. And even before that, they kind of changed her character and all on the movies and all that, But I don't know. I'm just I think people are just kind of sick of this crap and just want to But I'm But again, saying you can't have your kids be exposed to it as well, I can kind of understand why people are upset about that, because there's nothing wrong with that. But again, I can see why people are also upset about wanting to just have different stories instead of telling the same fucking story over and over again. Because Pixar was once known for making their different they were always making different different messages and all that. For example, Up. Up was about, it was about an old guy needing to learn to let things go. He was to let things go. And all that. He let things go and all that, and all throughout the movie. WALL-E was about, which is ironically kind of what we're kind of dealing with right now, which is not good, but WALL-E was about, the humans and all. Well, it started out with the robots, the robots and, WALL-E and Eve were falling in love and all that, which I've talked about in my, I think, Elemental review, that they say that's Pixar's first romantic movie. No, it was not. WALL-E was the first one that did that. They were the first one to actually focus on romantic, and then they focus on the human side too, but they focused a majority of the movie on WALL-E and Eve falling in love with each other, and they did that very well. But that was about the humans needing to also learn about that they can't rely on technology all the time and all that, and they have to. It's not the same as actually doing stuff, And then you have Toy Story 3, which is about Toy Story 3 is about Toy Story 3 is about Toy Story 3 is about growing up and all that, and all that stuff, and moving on and all that, kind of similar to kind of Up, but more so like it's like about growing up and all that, and like focusing on other characters and all that too, where they're struggling and all that too, which is nice. And then you got like, and then like I said, even Toy Story 4 had like showing people being like struggling in kindergarten or grade school, being nervous for their first day, and even like like Cars the same way. Cars like Lightning McQueen, you need to learn to grow. You need to learn to grow and, not be so selfish, Pixar's always been known to do this. And I mean, oops, sorry about that. I don't know why I did that. Again, I keep, like, doing that stuff with the phone. Yeah, I guess I'm used to doing it on my other phone, because I keep that so I don't, like, shut the phone off, because if I shut it off, I think it'll stop the recording. But I was just gonna say, yeah, basically this has kind of been a thing throughout history, And that's the problem with Elio too. Elio is not very, Elio's not, or not Elio. I mean Elio. I keep calling it Elio. I mean Elio. Elio is not really, it doesn't feel like it relates to people either very well. Which, again, maybe why maybe. A lot of people don't want to go see it because they're afraid it's going to be bad or boring. It's just kind of a thing. But I don't know. But that's the thing, though, too. Like, I just don't. I think at this point, I don't know if Disney's gonna, like I said, what's gonna go on with Disney, because like they pretty much have lost. They've lost like almost all their like creative, teams and all. They're all going to like other studios on. And when they made Inside Out 2, all the people that kind of worked on that movie and all that have got fired. I heard some of them were doing a shitty job, but most of them actually were the ones who created some of those movies. They fucking let them go, because I think they were gonna gut probably Pixar, and then Inside Out 2 saved them, But now they're kind of going back downhill, And the thing is, they had Toy Story 5 that came out, but I'm kind of afraid. I'm afraid like Toy Story 5 may not be very good, Like, I mean, it could be good. It has an interesting concept, which I want to do a solo, video talking about the concept and what I think about what could happen with the movie itself and how people might react to it. But people are kind of like, just, there doesn't need to be another movie. But I guess the same with Shrek as well. But Shrek, I feel like, with Toy Story 4, I feel like they wrapped things up pretty good there at the end. I know, like, people are kind of split on it, but, like, for the most part, I think a lot of people actually think the ending of that movie was not too bad, with Woody, leaving his friends and all to go hang out with Bo. It kind of shows that the toys can have their own, opinion and all that. But like Toy Story 5, I'm like, what's there really to really tell? Like, I feel like, and plus they kind of been pushing a lot of the characters aside because they passed away. Most of the voice actors passed away, But yeah, most of them have passed away, because, from old age, because, Toy Story, the original Toy Story is like old. It came out, in 1995. It's a very old movie. Which I think at this point would be like 30 years ago, right? 30 years ago now? I can't remember. Definitely very old. Actually, next year will be Pixar's, I think, yeah, Pixar will be 40 next year. Yeah, Pixar will be 40 next year. Because they had that 20, anniversary celebration there. Well, actually, they were founded in 1980. What? Actually, no, it was 79. They were founded, but I think their first short, where they kind of got big, was like before that. But like George Lucas and all that kind of had Pixar before that, but he kind of didn't really care for it at the time, so he just sold it off, and. It's what I've heard and all that, which is kind of crazy. That was part of Lucasfilm originally, and then it kind of became its own thing, and then Disney acquired it and all when they partnered up with them. It's kind of a crazy story there, but I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that. And then like we have a Cars 4 coming out, which, by the way, Cars is probably like Disney's worst, version of it's their worst like receiving, Pixar franchise. And I talked about how it's basically it's basically the open season movies of Pixar, how Sony Pictures, a lot of people don't like them, the open season movies. That's kind of how it is with this. I will say the Cars movies are, in my opinion, are definitely way more enjoyable than that. But even I agree that they're pretty mediocre for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But that's the thing, though. I mean, they're still gonna make original movies, but yeah, they're definitely gonna make less of them. They actually do have one I heard they're talking about making is a movie about a cat, a black cat, and all that. I don't remember what it's about exactly, but like, it looks like it's gonna have a different animation style. It might possibly be 2D animated, or that's what I heard. I thought it'd be kind of cool to see a 2D animated movie because we haven't seen that since Buzz Lightyear Star Command, and I guess Pixar is supposed to be known for making 2D animation, but like, I know that's the thing though. Pixar at the time, like, that's what made them stand out. But so many studios anymore do this stuff. I'm like, I don't know. I like, they don't really, they doesn't make them stand out anymore. So I think making like different animation styles wouldn't probably be a bad idea for them. Like, even though they are the ones who started the whole CGI thing and all that. Now, I think there might have been maybe other companies that have done that before, but Pixar was definitely the one that started all the. They were the first ones to start Toy Story and all that with CGI. And I've heard even stories about they've worked with Disney before. They made their own stuff with like making effects for like some of their movies in the background. Something they switched to CGI for their backgrounds, like Beauty and the Beast and all that. So I don't know, but it's just kind of crazy how much story you can learn for that stuff. But like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just not looking forward to Pixar and Disney in the future in general. Like, I feel like we're definitely going to see some problems, but because I actually want to talk about something that really kind of pisses me off too about them, but I'll do that in a different video about their parks and all that. But I'll talk about that later. But yeah. That said, though, I mean, this video is actually pretty long, but I had a lot to say about it. I did. But I just don't make videos about this much anymore because just because of that. But I don't know if, like I said, if Elio is gonna originally have gay stuff in it. I'm just, like I said, I'm just here to throw my opinion out there. But before I let the video go, yeah, like I said, I don't care if they have it in the movies. I just don't want this shit like in every fucking movie or every show. And it could be like, it's not every show and movie, but and I mean kind of exaggerating a little bit, but it's in quite a bit of shit, I'm like, I want different stories and all that, and I mean, if they want to make a fucking relatable movie, it's fine, but like, you can do something else, like, you don't have to make LGBTQ or autism, like, like I have in the movie, which surprisingly, I don't think they've made one yet of that. They don't really have a lot of autism characters, now that I think about it. I think Rose Red had an autism character in it. Which, by the way, that movie, I would not watch that. That movie is fucking scary as hell, like, towards the end there. It was also quite damn confusing. They had, like, for some reason, the fucking house is cursed and all that. I'm like, why the hell was that fucking house cursed? Or, I guess, mansion. I'm like, I guess it would be a mansion because it's bigger than a house, but, like, it was very confusing and all that. Like, I just didn't get it and all that, and, it kind of runs into the same problem with most horror movies. There are a lot of horror movies that are actually not that scary to me, but like, it's just they kind of run into the same problem like I have with a lot of other horror movies. They just repeat the same thing, or like you start yelling at the TV, like to get the characters out of there. I don't know. It's just kind of it's kind of crazy, but. But there really aren't a lot of those. They could make a movie about that, or like, I mean, they don't even have to make a movie about that. They could just make a fucking normal story, a relatable story, That's what Pixar was once known for. But most of their fucking staff that did all that shit is gone now. They're fucking gone. They either went to John Lasseter or they went to fucking DreamWorks and all. They pretty much went to their rivalry. So I don't know. But that said, though, I am going to go ahead and let things go from here. I will see you guys all later, though. But anywho, bye-bye.